Amanda.
Hi, Joe.
Hi. So we are just coming on here today as Amanda Brooks and Joe Dahl to speak about energy. And the reason we decided to do this was because we are both energy healers, and there are so many people who perhaps aren't energy aware, who don't know what we're talking about when we talk about energy and energy healing. But also, there is so much to speak about around energy. And so we thought it would be a good idea to come and offer you some bite-sized podcasts over the coming year to let's talk about energy. So, Amanda, as an introduction to yourself, please can you share with our listeners who you are and how you got into energy work and what you do?
So, thank you. This is going to be amazing. Just talking about energy, as you say, people just don't do that. So, my name's Amanda, and I sound like I'm on a show, don't I? But for me, I was very blessed to be born knowing a lot about energy and feeling energy, not understanding it, but just knowing that when people were around me, they would feel better. So I was very much already into that, but I wanted to be a nurse. That's what I wanted to be. And I did sort of like, I can't remember what they used to call it when you were at school, but you'd go out to different placements and you'd be in that environment. So I was quite lucky that I got into all these different environments around nursing and everything like that, and then realized maybe that wasn't for me. But I was so interested in the body. And then through a couple of car accidents where I was a passenger in the car, and I had, for me, they were debilitating changes to my body. I couldn't really walk well. I was just in pain all the time. And a friend at work, she paid for me to go to a chiropractor. And I was a bit like, oh, I don't know, is it going to make any difference? Because by that time, I'd been 2 years having all sorts of injections in the spine, plaster casts. I was on quite a lot of medication and just wasn't getting any relief. But Bobby, my chiropractor, she was amazing, and she really inspired me and said, why not train in this? And I was a bit like, oh, I'm not sure it's for me, but I like the body. I like being a detective, one of my favorite things to do. So let's just see. And literally, I just loved it. And I qualified, but couldn't work out why people were still in pain. They were structurally okay. They were doing their exercises, but they were in pain. And that's how I got into the kinesiology. And that was more into the energetics, how the energy of the body can create pain and discomfort in the body. And that was back in 92, 93 that I went into the kinesiology. Chiropractic was in 89. So it's been around quite a long time, and I'm just so blessed to do what it is that I do. But what about you, Joe? How did you get into this?
So it's very strange. I've always been interested in energy medicine, but not knowing what it was really. So when I was doing my proper job, as I would have called it in the olden days, I um I trained in being a massage therapist, and I was very interested in um aromatherapy and the energy of the plants, and that was something that I was really interested in. And then I had my first daughter, and I had a dreadful birth, awful. And after that, they discovered that I got a problem with my liver. And I explored acupuncture because I still was very kind of drawn to, I can do something to help myself here. But nothing was working. And somebody said to me, have you tried kinesiology? To which most people go, what is that? What? Kinesiology? And I went to a dear lady that we both know and had some kinesiology. And I lay on the couch, and she moved my arm muscle and talked to my body. And I, at that time, was a sales and marketing director and thought, what on earth is this about? Why do I have to why do I have to think frustrated? It's just like, what on earth's this got to do with anything to do with my liver? And yet, after 3 sessions, my liver function tests went back to normal. And then it was a case of curiosity killed the cat. And it's probably not the right terminology to use, but I just thought, oh, I'll do one course and just see about it and how that goes. And then, just thought, oh, I'll just learn a little bit more. And like you said, when you're working with clients and you're a detective and they tell you one thing and you're thinking, yes, right, okay, we'll just see where this goes. And then their body tells the real story as to what's really going on. It's just fascinating. And, like you, I feel blessed. The fact that I love my job. I love my job. There's not a day that I do not love what I do. And to see people transform in front of your eyes, to heal in front of your eyes, to be better than they've ever been. Some people come, I'm digressing, I'm sorry, but some people come with one thing and yet all different aspects of their life transform. And yet that wasn't even why they came. It's fascinating. And please, I'll stop now because we can go on forever about this, and we will be talking in much more detail over the coming months about what we do and how we do it. So, how long have we known each other, Amanda?
Bit of a story, this one, isn't it? So we met in 2004 when you were actually studying to do the kinesiology, and I was retraining because I was going to be a teacher of the kinesiology. And it just happened that every time I went to a certain room, you happened to be there. But that's not your story, is it?
My story is that Amanda stalked me. And everywhere I went, she was stood right next to me. So, obviously we were meant to be together for whatever reason. And again, graced by the fact that we are still friends and colleagues today. So that is amazing. And it's been a while now. It's nearly 21 years this year that we
That's
met.
right.
So yes, an amazing journey we've had together, isn't it?
It is. And I just think some things are just meant to be.
Yeah.
And that's how I think of our friendship,
Yeah.
because it was us both being in a certain place, a certain time. And isn't that energy?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Absolutely. So, can you share with our listeners why we have decided? I know we touched on it briefly, but why have we decided to talk about energy, discuss it in more detail?
Well, we were actually over a cup of tea, I think, discussing, how we can get people to really be more aware of their environment, aware of who they are and what they think, what they feel, and how that affects their energy. And then we were like, well, what is energy?
Mm.
And so it's sort of like the idea evolved from that point. And we just thought some bite-sized portions would it's like you could have a cup of tea or coffee whilst you're listening, if that's your bag or whatever it is that you really want to do whilst you're listening, but having some information, feeling more informed. And to me, that's what these are about. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's really important, and particularly in this day and age, that we
Mm.
know ourselves better and we know our bodies better than we have before. I know we feel the same about this, but so many times I hear that, I'm seeking somebody to fix me, I'm seeking somebody to make me better. But it is about us and our own responsibility to our own health and well-being and our own energy. And and I think that because we both felt that it's about turning the table now, it's about the tide turning, it's about bringing back awareness to how can we help ourselves. And so talking about energy and the different dimensions and the different layers of the power of energy can only help to empower you, our listeners, to become more energy aware. Yeah.
So what fun tool have you been using for yourself this last week?
So we've had big energies going on. We've had a massive full moon yesterday. We've had the new year bringing in new things. So when I'm seeking some guidance, I turn to these beautiful oracle cards. I don't know if you can see them there.
Yeah, I
The
like seeing.
Lightseer tarot cards. They are tarot cards, but they're the most beautiful tarot cards, and they always have a message. And when I pull the cards, it's one of those moments where you just think, how do they know that I need to address this? And oh, okay, I need to look at this. So I just gone to these this week. I felt called to go to these. What about you? What have you done this week?
Well, what I've been using, and I know you won't be able to hear it, but is a tuning fork.
Ah.
So again, because the energies have been so big, so intense, I felt not so bad so much from the inside, but I've been getting lots of electric shocks off of everything and static, and I'm like trying everything that I can think of to be grounded and, making sure I touch wood before I touch anything else. But even if I touch glass, I'm getting a shock.
Mm.
So I use this, and all I do is I just ting it. You can't hear it, you see,
No.
but my energy field. So, and it just is clearing it. And I've been doing it, and the shocks have become, well, I haven't had one, touch wood since then. So, yeah, so that's my tool for the week.
Brilliant. And we'll keep sharing these tools because I think they're that we call them fun, but actually they're really powerful and they really work. So we will continue to share, and we've got many tools to share with you. So we'll continue to do this at the beginning of our podcasts. So, big question. What do you see as energy?
For me, energy is everything. It's our life, it's our thoughts, it's our food, it's what we ingest, it's what we give out. For me, energy is the whole part of our being. You can't do anything without energy. It's like a flat battery, isn't it? If there's no energy, that car or that toy or whatever, it's not going to work. So that's what I see as energy. What about you? What do you see?
So, energy for me is everything. It's all around us, the way I talk about the earth is Mother Earth. The energy of the earth is so important, but everything has a vibration. So we talk about Mother Earth, and the earth has a vibration. In different parts of the country, it has a different vibration. Different plants have a different vibration. Trees have a different vibration. We talk about homeopathy because that brings in a lot of the plant kingdom, and that is vibration, it's energy. When we feel alive because the sun's shining, that's energy that we're drawing from the skies and the heavens and the moon and the sun. And when we feel depleted, then our energy is struggling. And so if we use the word vibration, energy is really a vibration. It's how we are vibrating ourselves, in my interpretation, and how our energy then matches the vibration of other people, other things, other plants, other energies. And that to me is what energy is all about. Is there anything else that you would like to add to that?
Actually, something you had said there is really, really important is that vibrational frequency match. Because if you are around somebody that's really unhappy, you can find your energy vibration going down towards their energy, or sometimes they can come up towards yours. So, yeah, it is. It's about our environment, it's everything.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I mean, all of these topics are huge, and we're just going to touch on some of them today. We talk about life energy, the energy that we're born with. Is that it? Is that it?
The way that I see it is like we have this energetic blueprint, we have this energy field and this like reference to how our life can be. based on our circumstances, our ancestors, what they've been through, what the environment, the culture is through. And I think that when you are lucky enough to be brought up in a loving home with so much love, I think our energy vibration can be a lot stronger. However, we live in the world where even if you have that at home, you go to school and you're conditioned and you're, because you have to be, there has to be a certain amount of rules. Otherwise, the teacher would have like no luck at all. And you'd never really learn anything. But I think that what happens is, depending on how we eat, how we drink, how we interact, depends on how our energy flows and the vibration of that. It's a big topic, isn't it? It's a really big one. I mean, what's your thoughts on it?
So again, it's huge, and we're just going to touch on this at the moment. But I believe that from the moment we are conceived, we get our life energy, our ki. There's loads of different terminologies for energy. And I think that we are at that point given our life energy. The big conversation is, can you add to it or can you maintain it? Can you preserve it, safeguard it, look after it, honor it? And I think that those are the topics that we can explore some more over the coming year. But yes, for me, I think you are born with a certain amount of energy, and let's explore whether you can get more.
That sounds brilliant. And yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that one. I've never really thought about, is it? So I think it's been a great topic for a more in-depth call in around that with a bit more thinking as well to go into it from your point of view, listeners, as well as ours.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and please do, yeah, interact with us and share your thoughts. We're just exploring energy, but you may have more information that you can share with the listeners as well. So please do engage with us.
And what about if you're feeling really low and you don't have much energy, what would you suggest or what do you do for yourself?
So resourcing, calling in help.
Mm.
I think that when we are depleted, we should look around us and see what allows us to feel more energized. And there's a zillion resources out there. But sometimes we can't always just call on it from within,
Mm.
that we need to work out how we can feel more nourished and more resourced from the external, whether that be by walking in nature or standing under the moon or calling in some guidance from an energy healer. Yeah, I think, it's one of those things that just to feel into ourselves and just check in. How is my energy at the moment? Do I get out of bed in the morning and think, woo, it's a new day? Or do I get out of bed thinking, oh gosh, how am I going to get through the day? It's just like, that's a good gauge, actually. Do you go to sleep and wake up refreshed, or do you go to sleep and want more sleep? I think those kind of things are worth asking and exploring and reflecting on internally as to, what is energy and how can we replenish it. And one of the things that we talk about is, why do we need energy? I mean, me asking you, why do we need energy? Why do we need it?
But energy makes us work. It's every single cell in our body. When they do the ECGs and all the different medical tests, they're looking to see what that energy vibration, they wouldn't use it in those terms. They say it's biochemical information, which it is, But every single thing that our body does produces a certain amount of energy, which can be recorded.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, in my lifetime, our lifetime, there are tools that are coming forth that are showing these energy changes and that within people. But I wonder if even in the rest of our lifetime, whether there will be something that, you'll be able to just maybe have an app, probably is one, where you can, record how well your energy is feeling. Do you remember when you were a kid with the Christmas crackers and you'd put that fish on you and it would say whether you were
Oh,
happy or sad? Just
yes.
suddenly had that thought. I mean, how did that work? That's energy.
Yeah.
So for me, if there was no energy, we would just be like a blob on the floor. That we wouldn't even have a form. So yeah, that fish in the cracker. I don't know why that one's come through, but that's obviously something we
Yeah.
can all remember. Well, maybe not remember, but can have a picture of in our mind.
Yeah, definitely. And that just calls to mind another energetic tool that I had the grace to use when we were doing some house clearing work, and we were looking at ley lines within the earth energy and the water, and I held the guiders, and I was in a room full of people on a course, and everybody's moving their arms to cross these things over, and mine were going round in circles. And I was just like, what's going on here? It was just like, and the guy who's running the course said, oh, your energy is quite strong there. Just like it was bizarre. So, that is energy, isn't it? That's a gauge. And innately, intuitively, we use these words a lot. We know how our energy is. We know whether we're feeling like it's another day, or even if it's rainy and cloudy, we've got things to look forward to. Whereas if it's a sunny day and you feel quite flat, then that's your energy speaking to you that it needs something to raise it and help it and support it. Why is it so? Again, another question that we can explore in more detail, definitely along the way, but why is it so important to keep our energy in balance?
Me, the way that I see it is if our energy is out of balance, then we become unwell. We might become unwell just for a moment or two and just not feel very well there. But over time, it accumulates in our body. And I see them like energetic bruises or scars. So from the old emotions and events and the days when you've not felt happy, the days when you've maybe cried yourself to sleep for no necessary reason that you know of. But they are bits that almost get laid down in that energetic blueprint. And if they've got no reference, what happens is the subconscious starts to look for the reason why it should have it and then starts to magnify like little satellites, bringing more and more information in. That's why you should feel like that. So the darker days become more and more and more. And so for me, it's if we're not addressing why we're necessarily, is it why? No, because sometimes we don't know. But if we're not looking within, if we're not focusing in and going, just what is it I need right now? And that's not about being egotistical or self-centered. It's about being aware. And that's the big thing that I felt that these podcasts were about as well, is about bringing our awareness into how we feel right now. Yeah, what do you think?
So I would agree with you wholeheartedly on that. And I think one of the analogies that you used really resonates with me. It's like having the kitchen drawer where you put your receipts in it and the keys in it and the pencils in it and the rubber bands in it, and then you keep adding things into the drawer until the point that you really can't get into the drawer, nor can you open the drawer. It's just full of things. And what you're speaking about there is, we've got this beautiful word to describe it, as stuff. Stuff. So when we go through life, we accumulate stuff, and if the stuff's not dealt with, it gets put in the drawer. And then it gets put in the drawer. The body doesn't process it. We don't give it space and time that it needs to heal. And we keep putting it in the drawer until the drawer won't open. And it's at that point, I think, that it's noticing what's needed and how we can clear and cleanse our energy field and allow ourselves to address some of these things that we wouldn't necessarily have even consciously been aware of, that we hadn't dealt with until it's a bit too late and the body's starting to talk to us and scream at us and shout and say, "Oi, come on, I can't hold this anymore. You're expecting me to hold too much and I just can't do it anymore. I need some help now." And that help can be from within, or it can be from people like us who can help you to help yourself with what you need to do. And I don't actually know if that's answered the question, but I hope it has.
Yes, it has. It has. And I think the really big part that makes us often feel like we're a failure is asking for help.
Mm.
And I know that we both ask each other for help. We make sure that we're centered and that we're as grounded as we can be. Sometimes maybe not as good as others, because I can be very much up in the creation mode. But it's about knowing it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So this really completes our first podcast. And, we've just gently introduced energy, and this will lead on to other topics and other discussions in more detail and more depth about energy and energy work and what we do with energy. We feel like a good topic for conversation to start with would be one that we probably can all resonate with, and that's, how do we preserve our own energy, or do we give it away? And one of the things that I talk to my clients about a lot, and they'll all be nodding their heads if they're watching this, is if you don't keep your candle lit and burning bright, how on earth can you light anybody else's candle from your own? So we will be exploring how you can keep your candle lit and bright next time. But just to summarize, man, do you want to just summarize what was discussed for the listeners today?
Yeah, so what we've been talking about really is how we met and that story, but also about what energy is, mostly just talking on the surface level, because we really wanted to, as Joe said, lead you in a gentle way, getting you to be more aware of yourself. And that's what we've been really looking into, is how you can start to notice how you feel. And then as we're going through the different episodes, then hopefully you'll hear some tools that you can use that will help you to be the person you were designed to be.
Thank you. So yes, so until next time, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
And we look forward very much to exploring energy, energy healing, and energy resourcing with you throughout the coming year. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye bye.
Bye.